Hi there! Welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. Today we're meeting in the moon garden and we're going to get some things planted, finally. We have been wintering over a whole bunch of perennials or temperennials for us in our greenhouse. We have an unheated greenhouse that we've been keeping them in all winter. Most of these survive out in the landscape without any protection, but I moved them from various areas in the garden and knew that I wanted to do this project this spring. So they lived in the greenhouse while they were in their temporary cans, and now it's time to get them into the moon garden. So I have those. I have some discount plants that I picked up because I didn't have quite enough of the plant that I wanted, of Dusty Miller. And we have some black pansies that we grew from seed. I think that's it. And then as soon as I get everything all planted, I can make a little list of the things that I'm missing that I want to fill spaces in with. I just think it might be a little bit easier to do that way this year. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you the plants that we're going to play with, where we're going to play with them, and then we'll start our project. So here we have a whole collection of fun plants to play with. In this back row, we have all this Dusty Miller that I picked up on discount. Look at these plants. They're absolutely beautiful. And wait till you see the price. Yeah, $2. I'm so happy with them. Of course, there's a little cleanup to do. That one was broken. It's fine. Really beautiful. We did have some of this Dusty Miller that overwintered and we kept in the greenhouse, as well as a cutting from that. So I have a little bit of variation in texture, which is totally fine with me. It's kind of fun. These have been in low shade, and that's why they're not quite as blue as these ones, but they will lighten up significantly as they're in more sun. All right, so then I have some bacopa, and look at this. There's one little flower on it, and they're pretty sad looking. I'm gonna just plant them because they hung on and they were tough little guys all through the winter, and there's new growth. I think maybe they'll come full on as soon as, you know, some heat hits. And then we have this double up begonia. This is a Proven Winners double up begonia, and it's a white one. The actual name on the screen, because I can never remember. Oh wait, do I have a tag? Kept a tag. Double up white. Well, there you go. And they take sun to shade, and I have found that to be true, which is what's really fun about this project. Is I'm going to plant these begonias in these two beds, which are full sun, and up on all of these baskets. You can kind of see them, and there's two more up there, and those are in full sun. But then I'm also going to be planting them, one in each of these containers. So this one will get full sun, this one gets afternoon sun, and then this one, this is as much sun as it gets for about an hour every day. So I'll have this cohesive look throughout the whole moon garden with one kind of plant, and I expect them to all grow pretty much the same. Oops. So I have the double up white begonias. I have little baby ones here. These were they were like divisions off of the really big ones, because they didn't fit in those cans after I took them out of their pots last year. So I just made sure I saved as much as I could. And I will just go ahead and clean these up. You could see, let me get a shadow on here, you can see it a little bit better. You can see all this new growth, and then there's older growth that can just be cut off. And we'll do that now that it's out in the garden and it doesn't need any extra protection. Same with these ones that have like the really tall gangly pieces right here. I'll just cut all of this down to this nice thick canopy now that we're putting it out. These were Diachondra Silver Falls that I tried to overwinter, and they did really great until January. Well, maybe it was February, and we got hit with some really cold weather, even in the greenhouse, and they just completely rotted. And I left them in hopes that maybe their roots weren't so bad and they would come back, and that did happen in this pot. But and in this pot. These two did pretty good. There's a little one in there. I don't see any signs of life. Well, maybe this one. Is this a Diachondra Silver Falls? Maybe. That's a weed. These are our native violas. They're just everywhere. And I don't see any other things in this one, or this one, which is fine. I just wanted to kind of see if there was any way to keep them over winter. These do not overwinter in my garden, so it doesn't totally surprise me that they didn't overwinter in my greenhouse, although there was a tiny bit of success. So maybe if it was a heated greenhouse, I would have been able to keep them. Anyhow, I'm going to use these few, probably all in one pot, and then we'll buy more Diachondra Silver Falls to finish off the project. I have just a couple of Oklahoma Zinnia Ivory, and I'm going to put this in a different project. Actually, they are going to go in the moon garden, but they are not going to go, they are going to go in the moon garden, but they're not going to go in the project that I'm working on today. Okay. I have these alyssum. I don't know if I'm going to use the alyssum in this garden, just because the begonias are a little bit more bronzy than they are black. They'll get darker in the sun, but I don't know if I love that together. All these pansies are black pansy. What is it called? Oh no, this is the florist mix. Okay, well, I'll have to get the black pansies. Anyhow, I do want to put black pansies in this container, so I'll have to grab those. But the bigger projects are these two raised beds and the three baskets, and I'm hoping also these little hanging baskets. I need to go get the baskets and liners to put out, and then we'll see how far we've gotten and how many plants we have left and what we can do after that. All right, so what I'm going to do is lay out all the plants in all the places that I want them, and then assess and make sure that I like what I'm seeing, and then we'll get to planting. Right, so what we have here is I've got the begonia, Dusty Miller, and Bacopa for the 3 pots that are going to go up on the posts. I've got this kind of Dusty Miller and 1 begonia, but I think once I open up, one of those 2 have more than 1 plant in it. So hopefully I could divide it and have 1 more, because I have 1 more pot that needs a begonia. And then in these, I'm just doing this little trio right here, and what I'd like to do is fill the front half of this with all mini vistas, possibly the back half, but I'm also considering some sort of coleus, color blaze coleus that can take full sun, to create some height, because I would love this room, this moon garden, to really feel closed in. So if I had something really nice and tall right here to create this like little room, that would be great. And then over here you could see we have this wall of rhododendrons, so it's just like very cozy in here. And then up on these baskets, I put a liner up there just to kind of show you, like, we have these reusable liners. And since these are new baskets, I got new liners. So they come in different sizes. I've used them on my front porch hanging baskets before. I loved them. And then I think I had them for these hanging baskets too, so I'll have to go look. Yeah, so we just fill these up with soil, plant them up like you would a pot, and then we can pop them up into those baskets. And then for those hanging baskets, I'm also going to get Mini Vista whites. And the Mini Vista whites will go in these containers. What am I miss? Oh, I know, it's a calibrachoa that I'll need for these ones because they just don't, like, there's some sun going on right here, but that one stays in shade all day long. And that one doesn't have that much sun. It's like late afternoon sun. So yeah, I think all I'm gonna have to do is pick up maybe like 6 coleus and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or I guess 8 Mini Vista whites and 2 some kind of calibrachoa. I do like the twilight calibrachoa for that area. So anyway, that's what we're gonna work on, at least getting these plants planted, and then we can have a really good idea of what's next. So I could have a list for my annual order that I'll be doing in the next week or so. All right, let's get planting. Then we'll put this in here towards the center. All right, now that I have a good idea how I can get these guys in here, and then I'll just be able to pop a Mini Vista right here and right here up on a ladder, because I can maneuver a little bit on the ladder, but moving soil and multiple plants and all that, it's a bit much. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and top dress this with a little bit of compost, mostly for aesthetic reasons, and it does help keep them a little bit more moist between waterings. And I just think it looks nicer than just soil. Not that you can really see the tops of these, I guess. The Coast Guard helicopters can see how nice the tops of these are until the plants fill in, and you won't be able to see the top of the soil anyway. Oh, well, creature of habit, I suppose. Right. Well enough. And there she is. Okay, I have 3 more like this to do. Just because that seemed to be a bigger hassle than it was worth. A little bit of compost on the bottom. soil. Some water. When our bodies get a little bit older, it's just a little bit more gentle to do these kind of projects in the shade, sitting down and not attempting to lift this bag of soil. Although, if I was having a bad hip day, that motion of reaching this direction, that wouldn't be happening. But we're doing good today. All right, let's see. Keep it even. Does it spill off to the side? Alright, we'll do a little plant down and get to planting. Put some Bacopa here. And this doesn't look alive. Looks alive either. Alright. I should try doing the bigger one first, huh? Let's do it this way. This is why they were discount. Definitely ready to come out of their cans. But really, they're not nearly as root bound as some plants that I've encountered that weren't on discount. So, doing pretty good. All right, again, I'm gonna take some of this bark stuff off. We'll take this. Okay. It's pretty loose in there. On top. This guy. In. Looks pretty good. Oh, maybe. Oops. Let's get it in here. that's pretty exciting to have these winter over. Let the crown come back and be beautiful. Alright, so we're going to just top this with some compost. Some hard compost. It's been sitting in the sun. I'm just going to... Okay, excellent. Now this one's done. Okay. One more of that size. So these are essentially grow bags. If you've ever worked with a grow bag with the handles that are more, they look more like a bucket. They're just like felt or something like that. And then sewn, you can see these lime green stitches on the inside. It's just sewn in such a way that it creates like a basket liner. They do come in multiple colors. I've seen them in a few different colors, bright colors, brown. I just find that these are a lot more sustainable than, say, the coconut core, or are they coconut core? They just, whatever they are. They fall apart really easy. They might last 2 seasons, but it's usually like 1.5 seasons, and then I have all these big holes. And these are washable. So at the end of the season, I pull out the plants and throw them in the washer. Well, I get rid of the soil. And then I usually rinse them out really good with the hose in the garden. And then I can throw them in the washer and save them for the next year. Which I did with the smaller baskets last year. These ones are brand new. The wire baskets that we have mounted up on those poles, I picked up in a garage sale at their Master Gardener plant sale last year. They had a little garage sale space, and they were real rusty because here on the Oregon coast, everything rusts pretty quick. But we just sanded them down and put some black Rust-Oleum on them. They'll last another couple of years like that, especially if we repaint them. And we put them up on the posts in such a way that we can take them down in the winter, which we do that with a lot of our metal here because we're just trying to preserve it a little bit longer. I have bluebirds. Maybe they're nesting in there. Okay, let down. Okay. Now I've got the smaller ones. Whew. almost. Now, with these, we're gonna get probably some dark sweet potato vine along with the mini vista to spill over, or we might just stick with the Diachondra Silver Falls and do these as well. But because these ones are in a little bit more shade, the Diachondra Silver Falls doesn't perform quite as well as it does everywhere else, but it does hold its own. Actually, the one that was in sun did great. I'll pop a picture of that up on the screen now from last year, and I loved it so much that I just kind of want to do the same thing again, or real similar. All right, so there's this one, and I guess I can prep this one. Pine needles. Just weave into everything. Okay, cool. Now, where's the small one? Over there. Good grief. Just gonna move into the containers up there now. Gonna put some plant tone right on top, and then it'll just work in as we plant. I don't know how big this is. Okay, it's pretty nice. Like that. Okay. Okay, excellent. Making a mess back here. She is. Great. All right, I'm gonna call that a day. I need to buy black pansies. I forgot that I did a florist mix for the front yard, and I didn't do any for this garden. So I'm gonna wait on that little planter that I'm gonna do the little tiny Diachondra Silver Falls that wintered over. They'll be fine in those cans for quite some time. We'll pick up our pansies when we pick up the rest of our annuals. And I'm gonna put my zinnias in the raised bed along with a dahlia So, oh, you can't see the raised bed. It's over there. So, and they're still really tiny, so I'm just gonna wait on all the little tiny things. But I have these all done, so that makes my job a lot easier when I just have to pop a few petunias in there later in the season. So let me get the camera turned around and show you what we ended up with, and I'm really happy with it. Of course, we have our mess that I need to pick up, and I still have some Dusty Miller here that I can maybe put in the bigger pots when I'm ready to pot those up. And then in these raised beds, I did the 2 double up white begonias, and you can see that I just did a little cleanup job, so they're just nice tight little mounds. And I could have even done it even deeper like this. These ones can go in deeper, and then it's just this really tight little mound here. Yeah. So, and then I've got these sweet Dusty Millers. I really like them. And same thing right here, except that in this pot, it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit deeper, and it gets a lot more sun than this one, which I know is silly, but it's the shade of our house, right? So I went ahead and put all 3 of the sweet peas in this container, and then this is basket number 1. Again, the begonia is really little, but she'll get huge. I know that. And then I put the Barcopa on the back side, so we'll be looking at the Barcopa from the backyard, not the moon garden. And then there's room right here for me to put a mini Vista white, and it'll just fill in this whole space and kind of trail every which direction. Like I said, I'll put these dichondrophals in here eventually and just let them spill down this way. I might even put one in with this glow-in-the-dark petunia. This is the Firefly petunia. I did a video on this recently. If you missed it, make sure you go back and look up glow-in-the-dark petunias or glow-in-the-dark plants. It's really fun. It does glow, and it's like this weird alien green glow out here every night. And then the little zinnias I'm gonna actually put in this bed. Just need to remember to water them, so I don't think I'll leave them there. I've got 1 basket up here and 1 basket up here. Same configuration. I suppose I could have like turned them, and I might do that when I do the mini vistas. I planted them all the same so that the Barcopa would be on the back side, but now I'm kind of thinking I would kind of like to have the Dusty Miller on the inside of both, or the begonias on the inside of both, rather than... Anyway, I could play with it later, but at least they're in there and up there. I just need to water them in. And then I did start planting up these little baskets that will hang on these little moons, but I got rid of all the chains on all the baskets last year because they were rusty, and I swear that I bought more, but I can't find them, so I'm gonna have to pick up some more. They just go on these little clips. Can't see with the plant. And then they hang up, but they're not done being planted up. I'm gonna get something. I'd like to put at least 2 dichondrophals, and then like maybe a sweet potato vine or a calibrachoa. I really love these ones, like extra spilly. So yeah, and then the big pots will come later. I didn't have enough plants to do anything for those, and that's just fine. I do know that I want white impatiens and a white sun impatient for that one because it gets full sun. But yeah, now I can just clean up this, and I think these plants are going to be a lot happier in these beds with a little bit more room to grow. I don't think I mentioned it, but maybe I did early on, but I'll put some mini vistas in these beds as well, so we have some spillage happening here and there. Maybe the same calibrachoa that go in the shadier ones will go on this side, where there's more shade. But yeah, I'm excited about it. The whole black and white theme going on here. And these, man, they're so bold. I can't wait to see them underneath the full moon. You could see all of them up there. That's really fun from this view. And then also from the backyard view, you can see them perched up above the rhododendrons and the pieris there. I think that's really fun. And you know, the lilac won't be in bloom all summer. It's just for a few weeks right now, and then all summer long we'll get to see those plants perched up there. I think that's going to be really fun to have some a bright spot over there, because again, all of these shrubs, after they're done flowering in the next month, they'll just be a beautiful dark green screen right here. So it'll be really nice to have some color happening in that side of the garden that way. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, I feel like summer is like so close now with things getting planted out in the garden. We are so close. And today was about 55, 56 degrees. It was warm enough to be out here in the shade, which is like amazing to me because I'm usually like craving the sun because it's so cold. So it felt really good to just be out here and planting things for this coming garden season. So I hope that you are able to plant something beautiful in your garden this week, and I hope you're having a fantastic moon day. Happy Moon Day. I hope that you are celebrating your life, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.